This case management conference is in the matter of CFI 043-2020 and is being held by way of video conference before Justice Dwayne Martin, with the sitting of the hearing taking place in Dubai. Any orders or directions made during the course or after this hearing will be issued by the registry in Dubai on the judge's instructions. The claimant is represented by Kochar & Co. Legal Consultants. Lead counsel is Ms. Zoe O'Sullivan, KC. The fourth defendant is represented by Baker's Hilly Law Corporation for Legal Consultancy. Lead counsel is Mr. P.V. Shaheen. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Ms. O'Sullivan, would you like to start?
Yes, good afternoon, Your Honour. This is the case management conference of the Bank of Baroda's claim against Dr. Shetty on his personal guarantee of a debt of some 34 million US dollars. And you'll remember, I think, that the defence advanced by Dr. Shetty is his usual defence that his signature on the guarantee has been forged.
Yes.
So essentially, this shouldn't detain you too long
No.
because it's essentially about the directions, and there's not a huge amount of difference between us. Can I ask you to turn straight to our draft order, which is at page 104 in the case bundle?
Yes, certainly. I've seen it. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. I'm just loading up. Yes, I have that. Thank you.
If you go, this is page 104, it begins at. If you scroll down to paragraph 1 on page 105, the first matter is the time for Dr. Shetty to serve his witness statement. And he's proposed the 2nd of September, and we're content with that.
Right. All right. So, yes, just let me see. So, yes, by 2nd of September. So, paragraph 1 at 2nd September. Yes.
Then we come to the expert reports.
Yes.
Now, number 2 is agreed. Your Honour may recall making a document production order in the State Bank of India case. So those 15 documents have gone to Miss Radley, the expert. And obviously, as soon as she's finished with them, they'll be returned to Dubai for the defendant's expert to look at. But at the moment, the timing is slightly up in the air, which has an impact on the further dates. So, for example, at the moment, we're not in a position to offer a date for paragraph 3.
Right.
All we can say is, obviously, we understand that it needs to be as soon as possible so that Mr. Al-Bar, whoever it is, has a proper opportunity to look at them.
Yes.
So that may have to be parked for the moment.
Yes.
Now, 4, 5, and 6 relate to expert evidence. Now, I'm what the other side have proposed is this. They say number 4, they suggest expert reports should be exchanged by the 11th of October with supplementals 2 weeks later. And they say to put off the decision on a meeting. Now, with some trepidation, I would suggest perhaps we should put those dates in. I haven't been able to confer with my expert as to whether that's feasible, but I would hope it would be. I do have some reservations, certainly in relation to the originals that have been provided. And so what I would suggest is perhaps we put those dates in on the understanding that there will be liberty to apply if events, it turns out to be not possible in the events, but subject to that.
Well, you could simply, if you can agree revised dates, just lodge a consent order, and we can do it
exactly. So we'd put in number 4, 11th, number 5, the 21st.
Yes.
And then the other side suggested that you shouldn't direct an expert meeting at this stage, but I think it's useful that that is very useful to have a joint report, and it's a question of having a window. So probably within, say, the 2-week window, 2 or 3 weeks after the 21st of October, we'd suggest. And of course, that can be a virtual meeting.
Sorry, paragraph 4 was, what was the date for paragraph 4 again?
The 11th of October.
So paragraph 5 then will be the 25th of October, wouldn't it?
Yes, indeed. Yes, that's the 21st, but it's the 25th. And then probably if we open, say, a 2-week window 2 weeks after that, so it'll be the beginning of November, and then the following 2 weeks, and then the experts can agree a time that suits them.
Yes. Yes. All right.
And then the only other matter, we would ask you to set this matter down for trial, because I think that does help both parties focus on the need to get things done and not to drift. We suggest that a date.
The problem with that, Ms. O'Sullivan, is that the length of the trial depends rather much upon whether Dr. Shetty gives evidence, doesn't it? So that if it's just the experts, I can see the trial being concluded in a day. Yeah. But if Dr. Shetty gives evidence, the cross-examination may be extensive, mightn't it?
Well, who knows? At the moment, I mean, it rather depends on how much he's forthcoming with his theory of the forgery. At the moment, I mean, we've never seen anything in any case beyond bare denials. Yes. I mean, I will spend some time with him, but I mean, I was envisaging that even with cross-examination, I might want to be a couple of hours with Dr. Shetty. Yeah. But I mean, yes, I mean, it's certainly if.
Perhaps we should reserve 2 days just out of out of an abundance of caution. Would that be a good idea?
If we go short, we go short. That's fine, Your Honour. That's fine. Thank you. Yes. And so I think the other side have said something like the week of the 2nd of December. Yes. I think that they've actually proposed the 5th of December. But, I mean, obviously, this is subject to the court's ability to find a judge.
Yes. Well, I think. I understand that obviously it would be sensible if I was the judge of the case, I think, given my background in it. And I'm not available for the first 2 weeks in December, but I am available thereafter. So just pulling my calendar up, that would be in the weeks commencing this. Well, it's really only 1 week when you look at Christmas, but the week of the 16th of December. I don't know how you're placed that week, Ms. O'Sullivan.
Unfortunately, that's the 1 week I can't do.
Oh dear.
I could do I've got the 3 days the previous week, but if Your Honour is simply not available those 2 weeks,
I'm in a 2 week hearing the previous 2 weeks, I'm afraid.
Well, in that case, it might have to go off into early in the new year if Your Honour's available then.
Yes, late November is not an option.
Late November certainly could be an option. Let me look at. Yes, I think it is an option actually. I'm just going to get my calendar up and check. Yes. But yes, I think it potentially is an option.
Okay.
The last week, certainly. I mean, the second to last week, of course, we have the delights of Dubai Arbitration Week.
Yes, that's right.
And I shall be in Dubai that week, but
you probably want to be doing things
the week of the 25th. I have clear the whole of the week of the 25th of November. So that is feasible from my perspective. I can't speak for Mr. Shaheen.
Yes, all right. Well, I have a commitment on the 27th that's an afternoon commitment here, but that really interferes with the Dubai timing. So I assume we'll do the trial by video, wouldn't we?
Yes, I think so.
Yes, all right. Well, I could do 25 or 26 or 28, 29.
Yes, and that's fine for me.
Yes, all right. Thanks.
So subject to that, I just had one point I wanted to raise, which is that there's a draft case memorandum from the other side, which raises the possibility of further issues being addressed by the court. And obviously, where Your Honour's already directed, there is one issue for trial, and we would say it would be an abusive process to seek to raise any further issues. I just would like to make that crystal clear at this stage.
I understand your position there.
But subject to that, those are my submissions.
Yes, thank you, Ms. O'Sullivan. Mr. Shaheen.
I'm okay with the dates, and the trial dates are announced as 28th and 29th November.
Or I could do either 25, 26 or 28, 29 of November.
Personally, I have no issues. I'm available. Only thing is I need to take instructions from the client if he's giving witnesses and his availability. That's all.
Yes, all right. All right. Well, I think really he needs to make himself available if he can. So, Ms. O'Sullivan, why don't we go with 25, 26 November then?
I'm content with that, Your Honour. I'll put that in.
All right. I'll list the matter for 25, 26. Mr. Shaheen, your client can give evidence by video. If he's going to give evidence, he can give evidence by video link if he wishes. And I assume he will. I don't imagine he wants to return to the UAE. So he should do his best to make himself available over that time.
Understood, Your Lordship.
Yes. All right. All right. We'll list the matter for the 25th for 2 days, for up to 2 days on the 25th and 26th of November. Now, what do you say about the other matters Ms. O'Sullivan raised, Mr. Shaheen? First of all, going through using the draft order as our template, you confirm that it's agreed that Dr. Shetty's statement will be provided by the 2nd of September if he is going to give evidence? Yes, all right.
Your
And item 2 has been agreed. In relation to item 3, one option would simply be to, let me just go back to where it was. I've just lost it on my screen now. Item 3, if we simply said, deleted the date and said, shall, as soon as practicable, permit the fourth defendant's expert to inspect the originals of personal guarantee, would that be satisfactory?
If your lordship could afford to give some tentative dates, I can make sure the availability of the expert also on those dates.
Well, the problem is, as I understand Ms. O'Sullivan, she doesn't know how long her expert is going to need the documents.
I do appreciate that.
Well, what date do you suggest I propose?
Dates. Any word near 16 September is what we had suggested.
15 September. Ms. O'Sullivan, do you think that's achievable? It should be, shouldn't it?
It might well be achievable. I mean,
Yes.
we're sympathetic, obviously, to Mr. Albar's convenience. I ask you not to put that in and to adopt the wording you suggest, but I will ask my expert if that is feasible. And obviously, these have to be provided in a reasonable time for Mr. Albar to accept that.
Yes, all right. All right, well, thanks for that.
Can I just ask Mr. Shaheen to confirm if it's going to be Mr. Albar?
Most probably, yes, it's going to be Mr. Albar. And one submission here, your lordship, that is the wording of 3, where we have suggested claimant shall by no later than 16 September produce the original personal guarantee to photo. That's how the produce it is what is stated. But what's submitted by the claimant is that the claimant shall by no later than 16 September, if the date is agreed, permit the fourth defendant expert to inspect. Permit is a much lesser word than produce the documents to the expert. Because last time also in another case, we had this issue. He couldn't take it to the forensic laboratory or examine it because it was given in the claimant's counsel's office. So if we can have the same wording for 2 and 3, produce it to the expert, I'll be happy.
Yep, there's no objection to that.
No objection? All
Thank
right,
you.
so then the 15 original documents shall be produced no later than 15 September, or no, as soon as practicable. Ms. O'Sullivan, could I say as soon as practicable, but no later than 15 September, in the absence
that's
of further
putting me on a
order?
deadline that I haven't discussed with my expert. Can you leave it with me, Your Honour?
Yes,
I will
right.
speak to Miss Radley, and I mean, I hope that that's achievable.
Yes, all right.
These things
Well,
don't
if
take
it
months,
isn't,
as
then
I understand it. So yes, I hope so.
If it isn't achievable, the other dates and the trial date are going to be jeopardised, I think.
Understood.
Yes, all right. All right, now back to you, Mr. Shaheen. Item 4 is proposal is 11 October, and you're happy with that?
I'm happy with that, Your Lordship.
And item 5 is 25 October?
Yes, Your Lordship.
Yes, and tell me your position on expert conferral.
Yes, there are 2 possibilities. Either they exchange the reports and submit the joint report to the court as suggested by the claimant's counsel, or they meet and discuss physically. Which one are we going to follow?
Well, I think they should meet, but that should be. It can be done virtually if they're in different jurisdictions, as they probably will be. Well, it says meet virtually. No, yes, it says. I'm just looking at 6. Meet virtually no later than and shall produce a joint report. And sorry, what's your point again?
So just I'm trying to understand that whether they're meeting and submitting a joint report, identifying what they agreed and what they are able to agree before the honorable. So if that is correct, I'm all right with that. I don't have an issue.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the last sentence. Could you repeat that, please?
I don't have any issue with what the claimant has suggested, that they virtually meet and submit a joint report, identifying what they have agreed and what are the differences to be decided by the court.
All right. Well, Ms. O'Sullivan, just look at that. Your draft has 2 dates in there. Wouldn't it be better simply to put an end date?
Yes, it would. It would be simpler, yes.
Yes, all right. So we'll make that. Mr. Shaheen, would 14 days from the second round of reports be long enough to enable that to occur, for them to meet virtually and produce a joint report?
Yes, Your Lordship. Joint report is what?
Okay. All right. 14 days. All right. I'll that will embody that.
It's something like the 8th of November, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, we've discussed the trial dates. Pre-trial review, when would be the best? Probably the pre-trial review should happen pretty soon after the joint report is filed. Should it? So if that's the 8th of November, that's the 8th of November. We've got the trial on the 25th. Just looking at my diary. What about pre-trial review about 10 days before the trial? Say the 14th of November?
I may be returning from Dubai on that day. The 15th might work better for me.
15th of November, Mr. Shaheen?
Yes, Your Lordship. I'm okay.
All right. Pre-trial review on the 15th of November. Any particular time that would be better for you, Council? 10 a.m. Dubai? Or that's going to be a bit early in the morning for you, Ms. O'Sullivan, isn't it?
It always is, Your Honour. I don't mind. And we may not need one. I mean, if there's nothing to discuss, we can always agree to dispense with it.
Yes. All right. Well, Mr. Shaheen, how about midday on the 15th? Would that be convenient to you?
Yes, Your Lordship. Definitely.
Yes. Okay. Okay. And then if there's nothing to discuss, you can simply dispense with that by consent. And then 9 and 10 are periods before the date of the hearing, so that they don't need to be adjusted. And then the skeleton is 1 week before the hearing. Is it, Mr. Shaheen, the final point is the point that Ms. O'Sullivan raised, and that is that you seem to be suggesting that there are other issues other than whether or not Dr. Shetty executed the guarantee. What do you propose? What are you contemplating there?
See, that question, if the issue is framed as such, whether Dr. Shetty executed the guarantee, that's fine. But if we are restricting to the point whether the signature on that last page, whether it is genuine or not, I have a problem. Because
it's not that, as I understand it. It's simply whether Dr. Shetty executed the guarantee. That's right, isn't it, Ms. O'Sullivan?
Then it's fine.
Yes, I mean, I think it may have been framed in terms of whether the signature is genuine, but I mean, upon this, it's the same point. If it's not his signature, we would we wouldn't say he'd executed it if it's proven to be a forgery.
Well, there might be issues about whether it's executed by someone under his authority. That's it. But anyway,
I don't think it's our case. I mean, I think it's our case that he signed it.
Okay. All right. Well, I think the issue simply will be whether he executed the guarantee.
Yes.
This is the thing. I mean, there's been no suggestion by Dr. Shetty that that someone was authorized to add his signature. I mean, I'm not quite sure how. He simply says it's a forgery. It's not my signature, and that's the end of it.
Yes. Yes. Well, we'll see what.
I mean, if there's some case I'm not quite sure what the case would be, but I mean, our case is he did sign it. That's his signature.
Yeah. Well, if some other issue emerges by reason of the witness statement, there'll be liberty to apply.
Thank you.
One submission, Your Lordship.
I'll give general liberty to. Yes, Mr. Shaheen.
Unfortunately, 15th is the Friday, and the midday could be a challenge because.
Oh yes, of course, I'd forgotten that. Well, what 11 a.m. would that be? We wouldn't be long. 11 a.m.
11 a.m. of UAE is fine.
Yes. All right. Well, we'll make it 15. The pre-trial review PTR will be at 11 a.m. on the 15th of November.
Yes, Your Lordship.
If we need one. All right. Is there anything else, Council?
Not from my perspective.
Mr. Shaheen?
Nothing more, Your Lordship.
All right. Well, it only remains then for me to thank you both for your tolerance and understanding in relation to my earlier egregious offence of not coming online at the right time, for which I again apologise. I'm very sorry to have inconvenienced you. I will send a draft of the order. I'll revise the order, send a draft through the registry, and hopefully it'll be issued shortly after that.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Council. Thank you. See you. Hearing concluded now.